Come with me for a full downstairs house reset and also a do I, don't I have cancer update. So, starting off with a reset, if you are looking at this situation and thinking, nah, I thought you were decluttering your house, what has happened in the past few days? And do not panic, okay? I actually filmed this. It was after I think I'd done the first part of the first declutter. So, we've done plenty more decluttering since then. It's just that I filmed this and I got so excited with the decluttering that I forgot to edit this video. So this is also like a nice little reminder of how things were looking before I started my recent decluttering series, which I started because I had a bit of a panic when I went for mammogram. It threw up something not so great. I ended up having 2 biopsies and I actually got the results today. So a little reminder in case you have no idea what I am talking about. I had a mammogram. I'm only 42, but I got a health check with a promotion at work. A mammogram was part of that. I was not worried. I had not felt anything. I had no pain. There was no reason to believe there was anything amiss. But this mammogram showed a 3 centimeter area of what they called hardened tissue at the time. And I've since discovered is calcification. So it's literally like little calcium deposits in the breast tissue. And the surgeon who I was referred to, I saw it originally, he did say, that the way this presented, the area that it presented, my age, everything, did indicate that this, was probably more probable to be cancer than not. And he started to get my head around the fact that I was probably going to have a full mastectomy because of the area that this covered. And let me tell you, that first appointment was frightening. So I had to have a biopsy under mammogram, which was quite an invasive procedure, quite painful afterwards. And then that showed actually the tissue that they had taken was benign. And while I think ordinarily that would have been the end of it, because the consultant surgeon and the consultant radiologist were so sure that this was going to be cancer, they wanted to do another biopsy just to be doubly sure that they hadn't missed anything. That time I was able to have the biopsy under ultrasound, which was a bit more straightforward, less painful subsequently. They got plenty of tissue, that was tested, and I got the results today, and that tissue was also benign. So that is not cancer. And honestly, the surgeon said to me that his words were, "You have dodged a bullet." And then he went on to say that he has never seen a scan present like this before and it not be cancer. So I think when he originally saw me, he was so sure that I was going to end up having surgery, having a mastectomy, that this was going to be cancer, that this has been a real shock to everyone involved in my particular case. But let me tell you, I am beyond grateful. So that does not mean that I am going to stop decluttering my house. Because, I mean, basically at any time in our lives, right, anything can happen. And it's been really, really interesting. And I'm so glad that so many of you all have shared your stories with me of things that have happened to you in your life. And one of them really stuck out to me with, a story of, sudden health issues, then, meaning that you're stuck at home and you're then struggling to deal with the stuff that you've got in, and those health issues making it difficult for you to then declutter your homes. And this could happen to any one of us at any time. And I am living in a house with too much stuff and I really, really, really need to deal with it. That and the fact that as I have been decluttering, it has been so nice, is clearing one area at a time. And actually, I'm not really fully clearing one area at a time. This is definitely going to take, 2 or 3 sweeps through. But in these declutters, I'm managing to get rid of a lot of stuff in one go. I just don't know how people declutter their homes in a short space of time, because juggling work, 3 young kids, and everything else in life, I find it really hard to carve out like a decent chunk of time to declutter. And previously, I have been decluttering with just like 50 minutes to half an hour here and there. And that definitely does all add up. But I really, really want to like properly declutter areas. So I want to be spending bigger chunks of time. But this particular tidy up of the video was not a declutter. This was actually what I decided to do in the lead up to my first part of the kitchen declutter, because I could see there was so much stuff in the kitchen that like needed putting up, like the shelving unit that I put in the cupboard, or batteries that need replacing, like the toy I have in my hand, or there's action needed before I can put the item away. And when I'm decluttering, I do not want to be spending my time replacing batteries and installing shelving units and changing cushions and whatever else other jobs I have to do. And those jobs seem to have really mounted up in the house. There were lots of little pockets of things that required processing. And one of those processes was getting the Easter eggs down to 1 box per child. We do not go OTT on Easter eggs in my house. I have experienced this in the early years with my firstborn, and arguably like he was way too young at that point to really have any Easter eggs. But I think we ended up with like 8 Easter eggs for my eldest at 1.1 Easter. And I'm like, obviously he could never eat 8 Easter eggs, and he was only like a toddler. But everyone got overexcited. He was the first grandchild on my husband's side of the family, and I think that definitely went into it. Like everyone just gets excited when it's like Christmas, birthdays, Easter, whatever. But since then, I have attempted to gently put off family members from gifting so many Easter eggs. So my mum didn't do Easter eggs at all. She did something else, and I can't remember now, which is really mean of me. But I think she did some sort of gift for the kids, or some treat, but it wasn't an Easter egg. My mother-in-law is awesome for Easter now. She does some sort of Easter hunt thing. So last year it was these little plastic eggs that had finger puppets in. This year she bought like a mix of Easter egg hunt treats. So there's specific sizes that you can put them in, then the empty plastic Easter eggs that we had from last year from her. So we use those to do the Easter egg hunt, so we don't have to get that sort of thing. And I really love that. Like, I'm hoping this is going to be a yearly thing for my mother-in-law, and then I won't have to buy the Easter egg hunt things, and she does that. So that was really cool. And then actually just largely with the rest of the family, we just don't do anything now for Easter, because if we're buying an egg and my dad buys them an egg, my brother buys them an egg, which is what happened this year, that is plenty. That is more than enough. And nobody needs that many Easter eggs. It's just, again, it's like consumerism gone mad, hasn't it? Any flat surface will attract stuff. Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? But the only solution is to have less flat surfaces. And this is something I really struggle with. So we have these 2 Kallax units, which we have toys in. And I would absolutely love it if we could get to the point where we just had the larger one and we get rid of the smaller one entirely. But we're a ways away from being in that position. Like, honestly, 100%, the kids probably play with half of the stuff in them. But when you actually go to get rid of things like permanently from the house, the kids really struggle with that. I really struggle with that. I've been very open on this channel about how I struggle with anything related to the kids. So I would say the 3 things I struggle with the most are kids' toys, kids' clothes, and then my own clothes. And that is coming up in my next declutter. So I've done a declutter of my clothing, which I actually did last night. So I'm having to split my declutters into sections. And the next video has got books, kids' books, and my clothes. I know it's a random combination of stuff, but honestly, I'm deciding on the areas to declutter based on what is the biggest issue for us in our lives right now. And I find that each area that I declutter tends to lead to the next area. So, I tidy something up in the kids' bedrooms, and then I remove some books, and I realize we have too many books and I need to do something with those. And then with the clothes, it's simply because I'm going away with my mum and sister this weekend, and so I needed to pack my holiday clothes. So I needed to get some summer stuff from the loft, go through all my clothes. I was like, whoa, why would I do this and not just do the full like seasonal wardrobe changeover and a big declutter? So that is what I did. But like the next thing to do is always just obvious for me, because it is the area that is causing me the biggest issues right now. So a reminder of where we started before this reset, how busy things are looking. It is really nice to see my desk in this video and realize that it no longer looks like that because I have done the declutter. Like, that is really, really nice. So yes, the next video will be part 4 in my declutter series. That is coming up really, really soon. And then I have, maybe I'm going to do a sort of roundup of my declutters, because I know that so many of you love it when we have a longer video looking at it all at once. So I will endeavor to do that very soon for you. But here's how everything was looking after this tidy up. We got the Easter eggs down to 3 boxes. I basically just put all the rest of the Easter eggs in there. And since then, I would say most of that chocolate has been eaten, but some still remains. We take our time, go through Easter eggs in this house. What do you think of this drawer thing that I put in? So it slides out so you can actually see the food at the back. So I thought it was good, but also I'm going to say that was like £25 for one shelf insert. So I'm not sure that I'll be buying that many more of them. And I'm thinking of getting rid of that wooden rocking chair in this room because it's a bit broken. What do we think? Do I have the energy to repair it, or does it go? You let me know. And if there's anything in particular that you would like to see from my future videos, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.